Hello students, welcome back to the channel Yanimam. Today we learn about a story which written by Katherine Mansfield, and the title of the story is The Doll's House. The Doll's House is a short story by Katherine Mansfield written in the year of 1922. The story reveals the extent to which class consciousness has wreaked havoc in the social setup, so much so that the older children are discouraged from talking to the children from the lowest of the social classes. The story traces the problem of class consciousness through the character of Kezia and her journey from innocence to the symbolic world of experience. Now, the story telling about the doll's house. The Burnell's children receive a beautiful doll's house from Mrs. Hay, and who had come to stay with them. The children were so excited about the doll's house. The Burnell children get so excited and greatly attracted to it. While the two other children admire the red carpet, the red chairs, and the golden frames of this richly decorated house, Kezia, the youngest of the girls, take an interest in the rather simple lamp. The doll's house, attention of all houses. In the school during playtime, Isabel, the eldest of the Burnell children, was surrounded the girls of her class and nearly fought to be her special friend. All the girls giggling together, pressed up together close to have a look at the doll's house, which was the curious and attention of all the eyes now. The only two who stay outside the ring were the little Calvies. Many of the children, including the Burnells, were not allowed to speak to them. The Calvies were shamed everybody. When Kezia asked her mother, "Can't I ask the Calvies just once?" To which the response is certainly not Kezia. The fact that even the teacher had a special voice for them and a special smile for them, the other children, speaks to the distinct ways in which class consciousness is practiced, even when teachers themselves, in many training, maintaining the social hierarchy. Symbolism of the lamp. In the story, Kezia took a great liking for the undecorated lamp, while the other seems to be interested in the gaudy and decoration that adorned the house for Kezia. The lamp was perfect. It was so real. When Isabel, the Bosie, elder sister, went on to describing the various features of the doll's house, Kezia broke and said, "You have forgotten the lamp, Isabel." "The lamp best of all," cried Kezia. But nobody paid attention. The lamp symbolizes the working class. This lamp is very special and sacrificing the lights in the altar of the wealthy capitalists. According to Marx, these working classes are individuals who sell their labor power for wages and who do not own the means of production. They argue that they were responsible for the cleaning the wealth of a society. But ironically, they treated with the contempt and the disclaims by society. Now, I tell you the innocence versus experience of this story. Kezia decided to make friends with the Calvies because she has not been so far conditioned with the class consciousness which seems to have corrupted her older sister. And while the other keep reminding her of her high class status, Kezia instincts on her thoughts of equality of the prejudiced views of the members of her society class. By doing so, she is metaphorically trying to break the social hierarchy of class inequality and inequality. Now, the discrimination based on class. Mansfield brings out the bitter truth that the description between the wealthy have and the undescripted to have-nots was based socially on wealth and class. The fact that the line had to be drawn somewhere speaks volumes to the social hierarchy prevalent in society. At the end of the story, Aunt Beryl shouted at Kezia, "How dare you?" asked the little Calvies into the courtyard, in her furious voice, adding, "Run away, children, run away at once, and don't come back again," burning with the shame and spricking together. And the Calvin's sister hadn't thought the big courtyard, and they squeezed through the white gate. At the conclusion of the story, though, the portrait of the pre-dedicated to the of the Calvis and the Mansfields brings out the class consciousness that was faithfully handed down by the one generation to the another generation, from parents to children, and vice versa, and through the deft portraits of the characters and Kezia, Mansfield brings to the challenge of the exciting social class consciousness which was wreaked havoc the social fabric. Now I'm telling the whole story in the simple words, in the simple meaning. The Doll's House is one of the representative story of the Catherine Mansfield, who is known of the freshness of her approaches and beautifully colored method of presenting her ideas. The story basically gives us the deep insights into the manners and the behavior of the aristocratic families. Here, she ridicules the negative philosophy of social discriminations caused by the uneven division of wealth. It beautifully brings out the emotional relationships between the three sisters and their friends. It conveyed the idea that parents' attitude influence their children and describes them to their natural goodness. From the very outset of the story, we see that the girls of Bernal's family received a beautiful doll house from the Mrs. Hay. It was a charming house having a drawing room, a dining room, kitchen, and 2 bedrooms. All the rooms had table, chair, beds, and carpets, and looking so beautiful. The rooms were painted in different colors. However, Kezia liked the lamp very much, which was placed in the dining room. The girls were very excited and wanted to show it to their friends. So the next morning they rushed towards the school, but the bell had rung and they could not disclose it to the girls. However, at the end of the playtime, Isabel finally disclosed the news to the house, which spread like wildfire. It was decided that 2 girls would see the house at one time. All the girls got an opportunity to see the doll's house, excepted the Kelvia's sister, as they belonged to a poor family. So everybody teased them in the school. Being the daughter of washerwomen and the jailbird, they were victim of the inferiority of the complex. However, Kezia wanted them to see the house, so she asked her mother for permission but was harshly scolded. One day, she saw the girls passing by the house. As the family was upstairs, she invites them to see the house. The Kilvies could not believe that but stepped into the courtyard as they naturally wanted to see it. Suddenly Aunt Beryl come to their story and therein order them to leave the house in an insulting manner. The Kelvies run away from there with the feeling of the shame, but they were happy to have seen the house, the doll's house. In the end of the story, we can say that the writer has beautifully showed that the attitude of the rich against the poor. It is the parents who are responsible for creating the inequality in society. Children such as Kezia are scolded because they are innocent and cannot see the difference between the rich and the poor. The story is all about the Bernal's children and their rich friends and 2 poor little girls, Lil Calvi and the else Calvies, daughters of a washerwoman and the prisoners. The Bernal children, Isabel and Lolly and Kezia, and receive a beautiful doll's house from a family friend. The doll's house soon becomes the subject of envy and talk among the schools at girls, and all the girls shouted their prosperity and the loyalty to Isabel Bernal. Now, this story is a very best example of the social classism, and the story is about the doll's house. Thank you so much for listening. Yanimam.